Well, hello everyone. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. And no green screen today. I wanted to be standing up and doing a traditional Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. I'm going to lower myself a little bit here. Bottom line is, there's a lot that's been going on in the Star Citizen universe, but when you walk inside of it, it doesn't look like there has been, right? In fact, it looks like we took a step back. There's been some grumblings that I've heard. Not really too big of a deal here, but for those of you that spent all the time to get your hangar set up, it's gone. it's everything is different. And we're in an alpha. Sorry, voice is still coming back a little. We're in an alpha here. And being in an alpha means that there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to take away, add, and flesh out certain systems. Currently, the biggest part of the development is taking place in the behind the scenes code. Frame rates inside the PU right now are just horrible. And that's because you've reached the limit of where the original CryEngine netcode can actually go. So the more they add into the PU, the slower and slower the frame rate. Yes, some of you have beast rigs, but we're not talking about the frame rate on your computer. We're talking about the frame rate in the virtual space itself. So it's being what's generated on the side of the server, from what I understand. So if you go back to, and I got to look at this over here, and it's episode 85 of 10 for the Chairman, the last one that Chris actually did, you could hear a lot of what's going on with development. They want to give us this really big, beautiful place to play in, our own sandbox, but it means going back and rewriting that code. And rewriting that code so they could put in a system like Stanton, which is going to be over 1 billion kilometers long. Holy cow, that's big. Now think of that. It's a lot of people, and I'm not going to mention names because I mentioned his name once, and we had all hell break loose on Trolls and $100 million. But there's a lot of people that said the game couldn't be done. Chris Roberts is more like Captain Kirk. He's not going to accept a no-win scenario. So he's changing the rules. And by changing the rules, I mean they're taking what couldn't be done and they're making it possible by developing the bits and pieces and wibbly-wobbly bits that go into this and making it work. And I think that's wonderful. But in the meantime, it's a little boring, right? Because you're trying to do a video channel, you're trying to bring forth as much information as you can, and there really isn't going to be much of an update until that part of it is done. Now, why doesn't this affect Squadron 42? That's the big question, right? Well, when you look at Squadron 42, all that really needs to be rendered in that game is the small little encapsulated spaces that you're going to be fighting in. They could bring it way down, kind of like Arena Commander. Why, optimize now, I get way over 60 frames a second there. But when you're in something like a huge space where you have to look at ships that are 3, 4, 12, 15, 30K away, you have to render all of that somehow, right? Sometimes not visually. A lot of times it's behind the scenes and just the code knowing where things are. But these are two different things going on. If you think about the way Wing Commander was, you would pretty much have a opportunity to, well, not an opportunity. You would have this space that you would be in, you'd fight, and then you'd warp back and warp back. And as you warp into the different places, that's when that game space would be built. And I believe that's a little bit like the way that they're going to be building Squadron 42 and why they're on separate development tracks, totally. So what's holding up Star Citizen isn't going to be holding up Squadron 42. But remember, the timeline always was, years ago we should have had these games, well, sorry, was that we were going to have Squadron 42 first because those are the events that take place before the events inside of Star Citizen PU. PU. Whoever thought that one up? So the persistent universe, right? The sandbox, that living, breathing, dynamic world that we're all, well, universe that we're all going to live in eventually. So I really am a little bit, not concerned, but a little bit at a loss of words here, because I could come in here and show you the hangar all I want, but what is that going to do, right? How many times can I come up here and put something here? I'm going to put my, oh, there's where my towel rack goes, because every time you leave, you got a towel rack in. I could come over here and I could build this out as much as I want, but it's not going to change anything. It's not. It's going to be that this game takes a while to get done. I'm sorry, folks. All right? So let's go take a look. If you're a subscriber, this month you can fly free the Aegis Dynamics Sabre. Sabre is by far, I would say it's probably by far my favorite ship, or is it my second favorite ship? We gotta get out of the way here. No, it's my favorite ship. I know I'd say I love my Mustang. I love my Mustang. I love it. But when I want to take something out and just kick some butt, I take this ship out. Now, to be a subscriber, it's $10 a month. Be a subscriber, don't be a subscriber. It's up to you. Supposedly, the subscribers' money goes to building things like Around the Verse, all the other videos that we get intend for the chairman or developers or writers or lore masters, whatever it might be. Now, they aren't doing a lot of research on just how we feel about that, because a lot of people think that the content they're bringing isn't really that in depth in the things that you want to see. For instance, ship designs and the ship design process. If you ask me, I was most interested in Star Citizen ship design process when the next great starship was on, or I guess it was a show that they had on a weekly basis for about 2 or 3 months. When that was going on, I was most interested because I got to see the way that these folks flesh things out. Being that Chris is so intimately tied to ship design, there goes my voice again, I don't know if they're going to be able to give the content in that way. And I miss the days when Lisa Ohanian was around and we had Ship Shape, because it was run so much better. I'm sorry, Disco. I think that you're wonderful, but you're boring with that. And we need somebody that livens it up and spruces it up and brings a little bit of character into the ship design videos that we get to see. But is it enough? Why does it matter? For me, if I was looking at this ship while it was being designed, I definitely would have been, oh, this is a stealth ship. Oh, round nozzles. And I would have been like, can't be stealth with round nozzles. You got to square them out or triangular them out, make them look like a prism, a pyramid, whatever it might be. So maybe that's the type of ship design people are looking for, where we can give constant input. But theoretically, let's say there is 1 million people, or there are 1 million people that are interested in Star Citizen, or more. Let's say 1% of those would watch these videos. So what is that, like 100,000? Is that right? Let's say 1% of those would give their opinion. Is that like 1,000? I don't know. All I know is that we're taking off a lot of zeros from the 1 million, right? That would be a lot of opinions being thrown at a developer and a artist, a graphic artist, that might sway them to never be able to get their own ideas down on paper. Or maybe it would. I don't know. I think that input in some of these things would be awesome. I think the Sabre looks badass. I really do. But I don't know if I would have wanted to be that closely tied to the development process. Well, anyway, I think that if you want to be a subscriber, this right here is free for 1 month, and they're going to start doing that because really the rec that they've been giving to us is kind of sort of useless. I'm thinking if they want to give us something from now on, maybe, just maybe, what they should give us is actually 5,000, 10,000 UEC a month, whatever it might be. Because if I want a ship, I've already purchased it. So help me equip my ship. That would make me happier and more likely to keep subscribed in the future. Now, I stay subscribed because I believe wholeheartedly in this game. I stay subscribed because I believe in Star Citizen, right? I've said that before. But I also want to hold them accountable when they're not doing the right thing. When I look at things like ATV, and look at the videos like ATV, and I look at the videos like Lore Masters and 10 for the Chairman and Bug Smashers, I'm looking to find the information that's hidden in between the lines that they say. So for me, what I'm looking for is that information that's hidden between the lines. So I don't know if there'll ever be a show that's going to come out and give me that type of experience. All right, that's enough. Let's get into the Sabre. Let's go into Vandal Swarm. And I like this one, and let's launch it. We are going to get my piece of crap X55. Sorry, guys. I love Saytech products, but my X55 has become a broken bits and pieces. I'll give you an idea, okay? This is my throttle. This button right here is broken on the throttle. Okay? This button and this button both broke, kind of, sort of, on the joystick. Alright, sorry. We got to get going, alright? So now we are going to be flying. And I'm going to pull back a little bit. And because we're going to start hearing things, I'm going to get my headphones on. That way I can turn it up and hear what they're saying. Alright, let's go kill some stuff. Alright, so you've got a bunch of high-end cannons on here. Well, not cannons, the repeaters. And they just melt through the Vandal with no problem. And oh, come on. This is the only one of the Aegis ships without a really big gun in the front. I normally change these a little bit. I'll normally change out the to put at least change out the one of the two guns to put at least 2 OS6s on there, just so I have something that's harder hitting. There we go. Alright, so that was a bad start to this, to show you how awesome this ship is. We'll only take it through a couple rounds. Ooh. Let's keep it going. Let's remember that in the early going, they like to crash into you. Or they blow up, and that's it for you. Look at him go. Oh, we're going to decouple here. That way we have a little bit more maneuverability. Oh, really? I'm not doing so well uncoupled. Come on. Well, if I was a great pilot, I wouldn't need a Royal Guard, would I?
Warning. You are
Really?
simulation boundary.
Where'd you go? Did you go out? I don't know where you are.
Warning.
Maybe if I just sit here, they'll all die. Oh, there he is. There he is. Alright, so we got some missiles here. We'll launch one that will get rid of this guy. And he's gone. Because early on, they die easy. Alright, let's go on for the next one. I feel like I really need those stands. You guys gave me so many great ideas, but my surgery has taken away most of the disposable cash I had to make one. Alright, let's see. Let's get in here. Let's get some of these guys killed. I was better before surgery. Maybe it took out some of my fighter skills, my fighter pilot skills. There we go. Maybe I never had them and it was all a dream. Maybe, just maybe. There we go. Oh, good, 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 good. All right. And that was it. We killed him, but his debris field killed us. That's my biggest problem with this game. Well, with my flying style, not this game. I got way too close to him. People are right about how I should be playing. Alright. We're having nasty storms outside too, so it's kind of nuts. Alright, because we are recording, we're getting like 45 frames a second. Trying to record this at 60 frames a second so you guys at least have a good look on how this game works. Let's get this going. Alright, we're coming in. And this is the second wave. We just want to take it over to Little King. Got him. All right. Oh, that's why. All right, we got it now. I wasn't firing both sets of weapons. Oh, someone took off my wing. That was probably that. Oh, shoot. If you took off my wing, is that why I'm flying so weird? Okay. No problem. I didn't have my Panthers being fired. That's nice. Okay. Yep, we lost a wing. Oh my god. We lost a big part of the wing.
Contact. Elite units en route.
Alright, guys. Now, we are going to have a problem. Alright, there's the Little King. And there we go. Back to center. Back to center. Uncouple. Oh my god. Uncoupled. What the hell was that? Well, we were a little uncoupled there. Alright, we got this last one here, and then we'll be done with this one. So this is the ship that you can fly for free this month. It is a, I guess in the more capable hands of one of you that are an awesome pilot, it will be better. We are uncoupled right now, aren't we? Nope, we're coupled. We want to be uncoupled. Alright, let's go. And get him. Nope, 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 nope. Go. Nope, 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 nope. Ah, whatever. Let's take him out. Send 2 missiles his way. He will be dead. Ooh, we got him. Good. Coupling back up. And pulling back. Uncoupled. Alright. Oh shit, there goes the other wing.
You are Approaching
There goes the other wing. And their job is to cut you in half if you read them. Alright, let's get him. Got him. Alright, one left. Let's go get... Ooh, two left. Shit. This thing is fast too, guys. Really, really fast. Let's get in there before Vixen has an issue. Alright, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Lots and lots of square meters in this game. Oh, good job. It's about time, Vixen. I'm gonna get this guy, though. I guess he's trying to get you guys. Now you'll notice that one of those was not... I'm just as bad as they are. Oh, look at me sliding through space. Got him. Got him. Alright, we're done with this. So we got through our nice little time there. Let's get out of here, go back to the hangar, and talk. So what are you going to expect in this game over the next few months? Well, hopefully... over the next few months, they drop a couple more flyable ships in there. I know that at least one of them is going to be the Reliant. The other one is most likely going to be the Argo. At least I hope it is. They said something about a flyable ship that's going to be available soon and that we don't know about or wasn't talked about. And I think it is the Argo because they are using that in the demo for Squadron 42. So that must be something that we can get. It's not a fighter ship. It's just a shuttle, a flying taxi, I guess. Wow. We lost both wings, but here we are, back in the hangar. And it's in one piece. Oh yeah, that's right. That was just a simulation. Whew, thank God I didn't want to make this thing. Look at this, though. They do the right thing with the exhaust nozzles and make them, you know, kind of... they should have been, like, more cut, like the ship is. The ship is highly angular, so it could bounce radar signals. But this should have been much more angular. And the front should have been much more angular over there. Nonetheless, beautiful ship. Alright, so we talked about a lot. Lots going on in the verse, like I said, but all of it behind the scenes. Nothing that you're really going to see as a big, giant change over the next couple of months. I think Citizen Con is probably going to be their next milestone. Hopefully showing us more of Squadron 42, but possibly giving us that look into the bigger and broader Stanton system that we could all fly around in, and those procedural planets that we'll be able to land on. Oh God, I hope they have the Lynx or one of the other ground vehicles running by then. And of course we'll have the Dragonflies by then, so that would be fun to take off and roam these planets that they're going to be giving us. Well, that's all I have for you. This has been a long overdue video that I've done, trying to explain where things are going and how things are going and why they are where they are now. Ben's Day will be later this week. I'll be picking the Dragonfly winners. I had a ton of you put in I'm a Star Citizen. So if you haven't done it yet, you're only going to get one entry in this. You could put I'm a Star Citizen in this one. I'll flesh it out, build my spreadsheet, and pick my names randomly. All I need to do is get from Ben how many he wants to give away. Oh, by the way, we did make it to 3,000 viewers, but YouTube did something funny. They do this once every now and then. It usually happens around a year. They haven't done it for a little bit more than a year. They get rid of all these dead accounts so you don't get the credit of having them as viewers. I know I lost about 200. I'm still gaining though. Thank you, because you guys are awesome. And I'm already back up to 2,900. And I think that's great. But at least I'm not Cutie Pie who lost 600,000 or Jingles who lost quite a bit. It's like trying to get back up to that milestone again and try to get up to that 3,000 again is kind of, well, I thought a bunch of you disappeared until I saw what it really was. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Remember, we've got that going on. Today, I'm shooting my first Dungeons & Dragons meetup, and that will be done in my basement, and I hope that goes well. So if you do like role-playing games, that'll be something you'll be able to watch in this channel, too. With that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. And please, if you want to help the show, go to patreon.com/Batgirl and think about becoming a patron. It will really help keep the show going and keep it much more regular. Well, okay, bye.